Hello, I'm DPW Express, and today I'm just going to be walking you through my thought process on how I play Rook on the map Outpost. This is a pretty easy way to get a lot of money and a lot of guns pretty easily, so I'm just going to walk you through it. To start, I'm spawning here in Airfield, which is actually a fairly underrated spawn as far as Outpost goes. There's two hangars. You can see I'm running from the spawn hangar to a second hangar over here. And whichever hangar has the UESC in it is going to have 3 guaranteed arms lockers, which will have all sorts of guns in them. The Burt, the B-33, the M77, the long shot, pretty much all of the ballistic weapons that you would want to find, you'll find in this hangar here. So in this section of gameplay, I'm basically just going to be running through the hangar, looking at the arms locker spawns, grabbing some key cards, because there are some key cards that spawn here and there and here. This doesn't end up being a master key card run or anything, but they're worth picking up because you never know what kind of situation you could get into. So here's one of those guaranteed arms locker spawns. There's a couple places you can find them in the hangar. There's 2 that can spawn in here. There's a couple more in the hangar that you'll see me go to in a second. One other thing that I should mention is that I spawned into this match at like 17 minutes, so I'm pretty certain that means I'm the first Rook in the match, so you'll see that's why I'm not that afraid to make some sound right now. So my strategy for actually getting into the pinwheel mostly just relies on another team opening it. You can use the green key cards to get in yourself, but this usually ends up making a lot of noise and being too much of a hassle. Otherwise, I would just exfil with the guns you got from Airfield. But if a team is in pinwheel, and I already know there is because they were just making noise here a second ago, it's usually worthwhile to poke in there and see what's going on. You're banking on the trio that just broke in there to hit the buttons for you in order for you to get into Command Wing. And then you can steal the guaranteed 4,000 credit collectible, the unsent missives, and then also the strong box. So this is definitely the route that the team took to get in here, so I mostly am just going to play this quiet, although I do end up annoying some UESC. I try to make as little noise in this section as possible, but that can be difficult depending on what's going on, especially if there's other Rooks involved. But you'll see in this gameplay here that I just kind of hang out in a little corner near the command wing door, and then once I see both buttons pop, I go for it. So that noise you just heard was that button activating. The team hit it in the destroyed wing, so I just hit both buttons and I run in here. You can just avoid the UESC, you don't need to fight them at all. Break the glass, head towards the back. If you know that there's not a trio basically hot on your tail, you can hit these tool carts, and there's other arms lockers peppered about. And there's usually good stuff in purple materials and stuff, but in this case, I'm just trying to hit the missive, strongbox, and get out, basically. So the missive always spawns there. Grab the loot from the strongbox. In this case, it was really nothing impressive, but you can get some pretty decent loot from this sometimes. But all in all, not a horrible haul for basically having been in this match for only 6 minutes. You can exit using this vent to the right. There's also another one over to the left, but I prefer this one because this puts us right next to the final exfil. So at this point, you could run to one of the guarded exfils and risk running into another trio or rooks and getting killed. But if you want to just be 100% secure in knowing that your payout is safe, I highly advise just camping the final exfil. And that's what I tend to do. I wouldn't call it the most exciting gameplay ever, but it does mean that you're going to get out safely. I would consider this to be the safest way off the map. So you'll see here that I just drop out of the vent, and I'm going to run over to this little cranny right by the final exfil that ends up being, in my experience, a super safe spot. I rarely see people run by here. I still set up a claymore to be safe, and every now and then maybe a rook may pass through, but you have the advantage here. You want to look out for this little flying robot, because you can see here it triggered on me and I'm not even that close to it, but just keep an eye out for that as it's passing overhead. And then you'll see I just walk into this little spot right here, and I basically sit here for the next 9 minutes. Again, not exciting at all, but it does end up being profitable because I managed to exfil with everything I've gotten so far. And I do get one cheeky kill at the end, so I'm going to fast forward through this section, but as you can see, you just put a claymore down, you chill here, and then I'm going to skip ahead to when I do the final exfil and explain my strategy for that. So at this point, you'll see that the final exfil right up on top of the dormitory's front porch is ticking down. So my strategy for here is just to sit still for a second. At about 31 seconds, you're going to want to pop your special little rook ability to disguise yourself, just in case that flying drone is moving overhead. You really don't want to get triggered by it because it's going to slow you down. You might miss the final exfil because of it. So otherwise, you can just sit here, and I usually try to jump in with like 5 or 4 seconds left. As you can hear, there's some kind of violence going on at the final exfil. In my experience, they tend to be a little quieter than this, but even with how crazy it is, it's still 100% doable. So you'll see about 10 seconds left. It starts to creep up. There's a smoke ult, so I feel pretty safe about going inside of it. And would you look at that? Random player I could knife at the last second. And you know, I got a blue material off of it. You can loot for a brief second as you're getting exfilled. So all in all, a pretty solid run. Nice little payout. It's not too bad at all. Like I said, not the most exciting strategy, but it's really consistent, and that's how I've managed to get as many credits as I have, and how I managed to keep my vault pretty full with a lot of solid guns. Like I said, the airfield lockers, getting the B-33s, M77s, you can see that I've amassed quite a few weapons. Most of these are from arms lockers, and then I get mods from tool carts. So I hope this guide was helpful, and I might make something more like it eventually.